Hey guys, welcome to React City React Cast, and we are back. I'm John.
I'm Rose.
I'm Niquey.
And this is a podcast.
Yes.
Yes, so last week's we've had a lot of big developments, and the biggest being the end of both Boba Fett, and I don't believe that was over the last podcast. It was the end of Boba Fett, and also the end of Demon Slayer. So that's also very big. So what do you guys feel about Demon Slayer now that it's done?
I still want more.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Anything in particular?
Well, I want to see if they go back to the Butterfly Mansion and like how they're gonna regroup themselves after this giant, catastrophic event that happens in a major city.
Yeah.
Actually.
And what's gonna happen? So, are they gonna end up with this new snake guy? Because it seems like they're passing off from Hashira to Hashira right now. So I'm wondering, like, is the next step to be trained by one of them, like not Mist, this guy, Snake. Don't know his name.
I think he's Animal Hashira or Snake Hashira?
Snake Hashira.
Snake Hashira?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm.
Snaky boy.
Yeah.
Because he is impressed with Tanjiro, knowing that he helped to kill Upper Six.
Mm-hmm.
Well, rather than impressed, it seems like he was annoyed that it was him. Because he didn't like Tanjiro to begin with.
Like, come on!
And then he hears he's was there at the event that Rengoku died at. He probably holds some malice towards him.
I don't know. I didn't feel that. I saw when he reacted, he's like, that guy, to me, is like, he has the ability to face an Upper Six. Like, he was like barely complimenting Uzui.
Yeah.
But then he's like, find out this lower level rank is showing promise. Showing that this lower level Demon Slayer has shown such promise. Like, Uzui believes in him so much so that he feels confident in retiring.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
To be fair, he also felt like he wanted to retire from before.
Anyways,
So maybe it was kind of like, this is a sign, it's my out.
Yeah.
Something like that.
Yeah.
Who do you want them to get trained by next?
Mist, because I want to know more about him.
Yeah. Mist seems hilarious just in the fact that he's like, I don't care about anything happening.
But he does.
Does he? Question mark?
He doesn't care, but he has acted. Am I misremembering? Like, something was happening and Mist out of nowhere stopped something. Like, I think it was in the meeting with Master or something. Am I misremembering?
I think he spoke up for Tanjiro.
Did he speak up? He did something, and it was kind of like...
It was a vote, and they were saying whether to, like, let Tanjiro do his thing or whatever, and I think he was like, I don't care, I'm not going to remember anyway. That's like the only time I remember him speaking.
Oh, that maybe it's just my imagination and my fantasies that he did something amazing.
I want to be Stone.
Stone?
Yeah.
Oh,
He is interesting.
What? Oh, yeah, the guy.
The Baccano angry guy. Yeah.
Isn't that Stone?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I meant.
That's why I think it's going to be Stone. Because they've seeded that one angry dude from the very beginning. And sure, they could have him be a parallel rival who also rose through the ranks. But it just, they show that guy and nothing has come of it for so long. You know?
Showed him twice.
Yeah. And he looks so interesting. And he was one of the only people who was, well, not sympathy, because he did suggest they kill Nezuko back at the thing. But he has emotion in it, so I'm wondering if maybe they'll go that route.
I'm sorry, we're talking about two different people
Yeah,
at the
because
same time.
isn't this... I thought the Stone guy was the one who
There's a
was making himself bleed to tempt Nezuko. Wasn't that one?
No, that's
Which
Wind.
one?
That's Wind.
Wind. Oh. So...
Stone is the guy who's always crying.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah, I was thinking the Wind guy, because
okay.
he's so, like, boisterous. I don't know why I automatically thought he was Stone.
Okay.
But no, Stone is...
Yes.
Yeah. Okay, got
The
it.
two guys that I thought we were talking about was the guy who he is apprenticing.
Yes.
Which we saw at the entrance ceremony where they chose their
Oh, that
rock.
guy. Yeah.
Angry dude.
And he
with a
showed
scar.
up near Zenitsu saw him or something.
Tanjiro saw him.
Tanjiro saw him in the Butterfly Mansion hall.
Right.
And he was still very angry.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He looked more calm, though. Like he was about some business.
More focused draft.
More focused.
Focused anger. Yes.
Focused anger, yeah.
But still,
super buff, like in a short amount of
He
time.
buffed up.
Yeah.
But we saw him in the second season when they heard about Rengoku's death. We saw he was with Stone.
This is true.
Stone, yeah. That's a strange, like, matchup.
A really angry guy and really crying guy.
Yeah.
It's
I mean,
apparently very dangerous.
yeah, I think it's like, he would seem to be more personality matching to Wind, but it would be a bad combination because it would only exacerbate his personality. Yeah. So Stone is a good matchup in that it'll help him kind of find peace, I guess. Temper him, yeah.
Yes. But also, we learned about Stone is that he and Mist became Hashira within 2 months of joining the Demon Slayer
super
Corps.
fast, yeah.
Both of them?
No, it was just one of them, but Stone did something miraculous as well, but it wasn't joining at the same, in 2 months. That was only Mist.
That was only Mist?
I think it was only Mist.
Yeah.
Because I thought he was thinking, what did he say about Stone?
He said something
about Stone.
Yeah, it wasn't the same thing though. I remember the scene. I'm not as
Uzui was.
Yeah, I'm not as good as this guy or that guy, but I don't remember what his claim to fame was.
Mm-hmm. And something else about the Demon Slayer ending. So we've already spoken about how they definitely went to hell and stuff, but apparently Buddhist hell is a little different in that. Once you go to hell, it's not the end of the road. There is a path out eventually. So it's kind of like what in the West is more common Catholic purgatory.
Yeah.
Where you basically get purified and then you get transferred on. So you get cleaned of your sins of the things that you've done, and then you're able to move on.
Oh, okay. Well,
So,
that's a little better now.
Yeah, probably why they felt okay with even showing that. It's like, it's not the end of the road, guys.
It's okay.
you know Buddhism, right? Guys!
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's funny.
And I'm trying to figure out what this part in my notes is. I just want to talk a little bit about how we pick shows and what type of shows we're looking for.
Yeah.
So, basic criteria of how we pick shows is going. Personally, I make sure that it's something that obviously interest has been number one thing, but then it's got to be something that's okay for sensibilities. So maybe not like too gratuitous sexuality. You can't be focusing on that too much. Violence is usually fine. Just there is a limit. There have been some shows that were way too gory, and I just felt like it was just for no reason, no servicing of the plot. So I just let that go as well. And then also, I do think about emotional state of you guys, of course.
We get very involved.
Yeah, you guys get very involved and attached. And it's not, for many people, you can binge watch a show, and as soon as you're done seeing the show, you just move on. Or maybe it sticks with you for a day or two. With you guys, sometimes I think you guys get really attached, and you'll think about a scene for like a week.
Yeah.
You know? So there are times where I will be okay with adding a show, and then maybe another point in our time of reacting, we're watching some other shows, and I won't be okay with it because I just think it's too much at one time.
Yeah.
So like back with Cells at Work, I was okay with watching ReZero as a starting show because I was balancing it out. ReZero is really, really heavy in the first season, you know?
Yeah.
But
and then Cells at Work was just like...
It's like a palate cleanser afterwards. I think I even referred to it at that point.
Yeah. Yeah, I think so.
yeah, but it would never be added today. If
the amount of
Attack
all
on
of our shows going on right now. Yeah.
Demon Slayer, everything was playing with emotions. Is like, okay, there's a bit too much. Let's balance it out.
Yeah.
Yeah. What do you look for when you pick shows? Because you picked a couple shows.
I look for shows that are like usually more action packed, because action packed you get a little bit more reaction out of it. You're like, whoa, look at that, that's awesome, or something like that. But I also like shows that have some lore to it, because we need something to talk about. So that's why I kind of stopped recommending comedy shows, because usually they don't really have a significant plot that follows throughout the whole season or even the series.
Oh. Yeah, with Cells at Work, I had a lot of trouble with that because I do not express very well. And so when I'm watching a comedy, even if I find something funny, you mostly get out of me to chuckle. Yeah. And the discussion, what we're talking about, this isn't a serious show, you know?
Yeah, it's like none of this matters next episode.
Exactly.
Yeah.
What about you? Have you ever thought of a show? Because you haven't picked a show yet.
I can't, because I don't watch anime unless you guys recommend it. I have a list that other people have recommended of anime to watch, but because we're doing this React channel, I haven't touched it, because it might be like we'll watch it one day. What I'd do is like ask if you guys already watched it, then I'd probably just watch it myself. Yeah. One of the shows that was like that was Mob Psycho. I was recommended to watch that before we started actually reacting. Yeah. But you guys had both seen it, so we wouldn't have reacted to it anyways. Yeah. But if we hadn't, that was a show that I would say definitely, because it checks all the boxes. It has a story.
Mm-hmm.
It's even funny. It's by the makers of One Punch Man, which is like my all-time favorite anime.
Yeah.
And it's actually I want to say it's my first favorite anime, One Punch Man, but I think I had watched a different anime that was really good before that one, but I don't
Sailor
remember.
Moon?
No, Sailor Moon gives me nightmares. But like I think about the amount of episodes in that. No. But anyways, yeah. But Mob Psycho has so much going for it. I really love it, and there's another season coming out.
Yeah, season
So
3.
I'm hoping like we'll be able to react to that because you guys obviously haven't seen that one.
Obviously.
Honestly.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, the type of shows that I think you get into are not the type of shows that I also think you would pick.
Really?
Yeah, because one sec. Oh, I guess not. I thought the car was gonna be louder.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's kind of similar to. I remember there was a time you used to like read a lot of books.
Yeah.
And I think you eventually, if I remember correctly, you kind of started not reading them as much because they were very upsetting to both ends, and because a lot of the time there'd be needless drama in the books.
Yeah.
But those also are the type of books that you do enjoy because you will read all of them.
Yeah.
So I feel like when we present a show to you, like ReZero, I don't think you would have a million years picked to watch that yourself.
No.
If somebody told me, oh, I was thinking about like, if I were to give a synopsis of ReZero, it's like, ReZero is a lot of pain and death, basically.
Okay.
And I'm like, if I were to think like someone tell me, oh yeah, this guy has this interesting power, but he goes through a lot of pain before he gets what he needs, like, no thanks. But it's got me hooked, you know? I'm hooked to the character. And I something I wanted to bring up later, we can talk about it, is the reason like I can handle ReZero and Code Geass gives me so much pain. I think I understand what it is.
Okay.
I think.
You can talk about it if you want.
You want me to bring it up now?
Yeah,
Okay.
sure.
So, yeah, I was thinking about, like, why is it I can handle ReZero? And I think it's because of the track record of each show as the episodes go on. The track record they leave behind.
Yeah.
We are at the end of season 1 of Code Geass, and everything that has happened as the show goes on is like, it shows like, we are winning, but it's not. You are losing constantly. Bad things are happening. Murphy's Law is all over the place. Like,
Yes.
that is Code Geass. That's part of the drama, right? That's what makes it interesting. ReZero, on the other hand, a lot of painful things are happening, but he eventually overcomes them.
Yes.
And gets a new level of pain.
Yeah, there are actual wins. that you
Yeah,
can
and the
point to.
wins feel satisfactory.
Yeah.
But it's like, something with Code Geass is like, I never get that full feeling of like a resting spot. It's like I'm on the sea constantly waiting for an island to show up. You know, that's how I feel.
Yeah.
But I don't bash it as a like style wise. It's a great show. It's just like my emotions are like, it's really hard to take. It's really hard to take. Like, it's I still like hold out hope because this is the prologue, and a lot of people are like, oh no, it's a good show. You know, wait till the end or whatever. Wait till season 2, and they're still saying like there's gonna be harder stuff to face. But I'm kind of feeling a little more hopeful that I can handle whatever conclusion this show comes to. But so far, it's not made me feel like I would be able to handle it. That's why I always dread the next episode.
Yeah. Every single time we sit down and like,
It's
oh,
like,
Code Geass. It's a soap opera.
Yeah. I brought that up before.
It's
Like,
a soap opera with machines.
yes. I quit soap operas at the age of 13. I got into soap operas and MTV and BET. All the shows, all the music videos, everything for like years. I just like binged. Like, I was just watching TV. And then one day, I just was like, I hate it. Literally, I cut it cold turkey. I stopped watching TV and I quit soap operas, and I just developed this dread for soap operas. Like, I go to the hairdresser and they have soap operas playing, and I'm like trying so hard not to watch. I'm like, please, I don't want to hear. Stop it, Brenda, go away, Brenda. But anyways, yeah, that's my rant.
I gotta say, you've been watching it for years and you stopped at 13. How young did you start watching those shows?
Oh, okay, maybe it was like 2 or 3 years.
It's still years. But,
Yeah.
yeah, so Other than that, a show that is coming back and it will be in time. Well, not yeah, it'll be in time after Attack on Titan ends. Is Vinland Saga? Yeah, so July, right? And I think this Attack on Titan has 12 episodes, and we are on episode 5. I want to say 5.
5 or 6.
5 or 6 at this point in time, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we will be in time. So obviously that means we will not be replacing the Attack on Titan immediately. But yeah, anything that you're looking forward to getting into with season 2 of Vinland Saga?
Vinland Saga. I'm excited to find out if what's his name, Thorfinn goes home. How is he gonna like face his family? And what happened to his mother? Is his mother still alive? Because the last we saw her is when she sent Leaf off to find him.
Yeah, and she was sick.
She was sick. Yeah. And sister was in denial for a long time of what had happened to her father, and she's suffering, and then for her brother to come back, and she might even be upset at him or something. I don't know. I just like the family dynamic's gonna be interesting.
Yeah, I feel like they are gonna be, or at least the sister is gonna be upset at him at some point because he chose not to come back.
Not to come back, yeah.
And then after a lot of years, and you still didn't do what you left to do,
Right.
and you were apparently he's in prison now because he tried to kill the prince.
Yes, you do.
Oh,
He might be imprisoned, or they're just like, get him out of here.
Exile.
Yeah, so maybe he's gone back home.
The prince would probably protect him.
Probably. So, but even then, Leaf might still have to like drag him onto the boat.
Yeah, Leaf needs him to go willing, though. You know? He's an
Yeah.
old man. He can't quite
Handle
deal with
that
him.
kid. No way.
Yeah, and he wants him to. If you want somebody to come home, you can force them to come home, but they won't be home till they come home. You know.
Yeah.
But, other than that, we're gonna have to be looking at a new the plot is gonna have to be a massive shift. It's either that the plot will completely change and become a show about someone dealing with the past that they have created in their lives, or there's gonna have to be something that happens that forces them to fight again.
Yeah, because his biggest goal just disappeared.
Yeah. Like what now?
From he was 6 years old, it was consuming him. I understand his breakdown.
Maybe he is gonna go to Vinland next. Maybe he wants to take his family to Vinland.
That was what I was thinking. Yeah,
Maybe
that's his new goal.
Maybe he goes back and his mother is dying, and he's like looks out over the expanse and is like he just sees a bunch of cold snow, and he's like she I want her to see the place that Dad dreamed of. So he just sets out to take her to Vinland.
Yes,
That's true.
We did see in the trailer people sailing on the sea.
Oh, the last episode.
No, yeah, they were sailing. They were sailing. No. I mean, it was a big focal point that it was these new people.
Yeah.
And it seemed like it was focused on this boat trip. So to me, it could be
there was like one
scene.
One scene. Of
Really?
Characters on a boat.
Really?
The rest of them they were on land.
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't remember that.
There's some random dude in the middle of the winter. I remember that.
It definitely, and it wasn't Thorfinn. It was just some guy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And they've seen some other characters, like Halfdan, right? The guy with the chains. Just like
From before. Did he show
rules.
up in the trailer?
No.
Oh.
But I'm just saying he's like a unique design.
Yeah.
He has to come up again.
You can't throw that guy away.
Thorkel. Come on.
Thorkel again.
Goku. Yeah.
Alright, well he might just be chilling with the prince right now.
Oh, that's right.
Yes, he is.
He's his new... Something. Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Don't know what.
Thorkel commands so much respect that he has him like as his right-hand man, and he's going to be basically his warlord.
Yeah.
Lead my armies.
It's amazing, like, Askeladd really set up the prince.
Yeah,
Like, he did everything in his power right to his death. Like, he got Thorkel on his side, got Thorkel on the prince's side, and died leaving the prince killing him. It's like... You are set up, sir, and that's why I really
made him the king too.
Yeah, made him the king. That's why I appreciated Thorkel, like when he was about to like fall over after killing Askeladd, because like I killed a person. Thorkel held him up, so he didn't. So he said you have to show strength or whatever.
He adopted him real quick.
Yeah.
You remember when Askeladd got stabbed by the prince? He was like, "This is your first time stabbing someone." It's just like, what is this, man? Oh, that's about to run out. Could you reset that, please? Yeah. Yeah, this next one was from a question that I saw from Ereme. Asked what shows are easier to edit than others. And so I was thinking that pretty much, it's weird. Like, Death Note is a frustrating show to edit.
Oh.
Like, I was editing it last night, and I was really disappointed because a lot of the scenes were just staring, because it's such an information dump show.
Yeah.
And I don't want people to be watching it. Obviously, I've said this repeatedly, I don't want people to be watching it as a replacement for the show. But at the same time, I don't want to jump scenes so quickly that people have no idea what's happening. I want you to have some continuity.
Yeah.
But there'll be like 5 minutes of people just talking about small bits of dialogue.
Yeah.
That were just like...
Yeah, and we can't talk over it because
No, they're talking.
If we miss one word of an important sentence, it's over.
Yeah.
I mean, it's happened where you're reacting to something they just said, and I missed completely what they said afterwards.
Yeah.
Like, stop talking, shut up. But
and then in the edit, I'm like, no, don't stop talking, don't shut up.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's kind of one of those things that I think we kind of have to, because I see us like nodding and stuff like that, but we're staying quiet. We have to just remember, be a bit more vocal about that, because we are watching it. It's just, it's a show that needs your attention.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and I'm usually really conscious of that because I'm like, there is no breaks in this dialogue that I can say anything. Can you take a breath, sir? But the thing is like, it's all like Light's inner monologue, and he's thinking constantly.
yeah.
So there's not really if there is a break, he's thinking. If there's not a break, he's talking. So it's kind of difficult to react in that one. So I tried to get a little bit more involved with the discussions for them. But at the same time, it's still such a lore dump that it's hard to like regurgitate exactly what they said.
100%.
Yeah.
Like I was looking at our reaction, and I was cutting it down, and I got to 10 minutes in the whole thing. I was like, okay, hopefully we have a very long in-depth discussion. Oh, just another 15 minutes. Like, our bare minimum is usually around 22 minutes. The Death Note usually tops around 25 minutes. ReZero, we hit 42 minutes in the last video.
Oh yeah,
really?
that discussion went long. We had to restart the camera.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and it's the type of the shows that these are. So, speaking of editing it, though, funnily enough, while that can be frustrating to edit, it's also easy to edit. Because you'll see very long planes of nothing, and then you'll see a spike because you know when we're talking. So it's easy just to jump to those moments and cut around and put it together.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Another easy show, relatively speaking, is Code Geass. Because Code Geass has moments... It's had long stretches of dialogue, but the dialogue is nothing. You could drop the whole thing. And I don't mean that as an insult to the show, because someone will take offense to that. I'm saying that as in... There are people who will be speaking, and there'll be flavor conversation. Like, it'll add to the characters. But in the overall story, it really doesn't add much.
Probably
And
like
so,
1 or 2 sentences are really important.
or even, oh, I thought you were going to say minutes. But yeah, I can cut like 2 minutes at a time. And then jump to, then cut, and it flows.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think also Code Geass, because it is like a drama show, it is crafted that way.
Yes.
So the flow is like, we have this slow, and then it builds up, and then and then we you know, so we have like set reaction in areas, so it's easy to like react and catch it.
That's exactly what it is.
Yeah.
Every single break is a build up to the next wow moment. And you can cut out all the breaks and all the wows together, still tell a coherent story.
Yeah.
Yes.
So,
When you were doing that, it just occurred to me. Not ReZero. What's it? Code Geass is constantly, you know, the diagram of like how to make a good story. We're constantly in rising action.
It's true.
We've never made it to the climax.
Yes.
We're constantly in rising action. That's why there's in ReZero, like we get all of it
them, yeah,
all the time.
Yeah.
Like every single episode, there's a climax. There's usually a little resolution. In a episode, even if it's not a resolution to the whole conflict. In Code Geass, no, just constantly going up.
And that's why you
elevator
feel
together.
Yes. It's like when you're in free fall and you're like waiting to smack on the floor. You know that feeling like when I was
When are you in free fall?
when I was little, my dad used to throw me up, right?
Yeah.
And that feeling you get when you go I hated it. Like, it was fun when I was younger, but as I got older, it's like, I hate this. I don't want it. So I kind of feel like I'm feeling that feeling constantly, and it's not going away.
Yeah.
Yeah, ReZero, I think we've actually eventually identified the loops, you know, and other people, like in the comments, started calling it loops as well.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's from us or it's like a group a group think kind of thing.
Yeah.
But what was it? It was like when we first got introduced to the world, there was the warehouse.
Mm-hmm.
And what will happen in ReZero, it'll introduce everything's normal, problem.
Mm-hmm.
And then in attempting to solve the problem, you'll find another problem that needs to be fixed.
Mm-hmm.
And then each route he takes will also run into a problem.
Mm-hmm.
And it'll reach the peak of despair.
Mm-hmm.
And each of those episodes beforehand will end with no resolution, just more, like the credits will come and something bad will happen. It's like another thing we need to fix, you know?
Yeah.
But then the solve will come. And that solve will fix everything in one
that
go.
loop. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah,
Within
yeah,
two
yeah.
episodes.
Yeah,
usually.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
And then the whales came, and the exact same thing happened with the problems, and then going back to the mansion, and then the beast from the forest. Like I think it happened 3 times. So now we're on this other loop.
Yes.
Yeah, I think he's usually like dealing with at least 2 problems at a
At
time.
At a
least two.
time.
Mhm.
Oh boy.
Yeah.
You think we might upgrade? No, please. Please.
Yeah,
My goodness.
I think my favorite show. Funny enough, I didn't expect it, but my favorite show to edit so far, the last one is still Baccano. Still,
Really?
Oh.
Yeah.
It
Baccano
was-
required minimal edit.
Oh yeah. It was really fun because there was so much to react to.
Yeah.
Because it's like, what's happening? What are you doing? Why are you here?
Yes, so many questions for a long time.
Why are you covered in blood?
What?
Why are you covered in blood?
Oh yeah, Rail Tracer.
The rail trace.
That monster came through the window, never explained.
No! Like, what? Cloud thing.
Yeah, not only could I just cut that jumped up, but I had the opposite problem where I'd often be way over time because there'd be so many moments and not all of them were required. They're just funny, but they were
Yeah.
good reactions, and so I'd cut out like 5-7 minutes of good reaction because it was just too much. Yeah, so Ranking of Kings, new show, you picked it out for us,
Yes.
and you were very proud of it, and you should be because
Yes.
we all very like it.
Yeah.
We haven't gotten to see the crowd reception. I'm expecting it to at least be on the tier of Death Note, but. Yeah, I'm hoping it does well because we're really enjoying this one.
Yeah.
Oh crap! I immediately forgot what I was gonna say.
Yeah, the rating of the show, reason you picked it, enjoy the show.
Right. When I
Don't forget. Come on.
when I picked the show and then you guys liked it. Afterwards, we were talking about like I feel like I'm like
Responsible.
I'm responsible for people liking this show for some reason. Like I have to get people to see this wonderful thing,
Yeah.
this masterpiece, and enjoy it too. I'm terrible at explaining shows, but I'm glad you guys fell for it.
We almost didn't do it because wasn't there another show that was
Fire Force.
Fire Force?
That was,
Yeah.
like before I watched Summer Ranking came along, Fire Force was like one of the like first or second shows I wanted us to react to together. And like a year later, we still haven't reacted to it. But the choice came down. We were like, okay, you can choose Fire Force or Osama Ranking. I was like, I'll choose Osama Ranking, and I'm so happy.
I'm honestly wondering the alternate reality of how we liked Fire Force.
Yes.
Because I wasn't really interested when I saw the trailers and I saw little snippets. I was like,
The
But
fighting
a
is
piece of
really
it.
fun, but
yeah,
I'm trying to remember the rest of it now. I guess it's
it's not a good sign.
It's not a good sign at all.
No.
But I do remember like the soundtrack that they use
Mhm.
is like incredible. Not just the soundtrack, all of the sound design of like everything, of their fighting and everything, all the sounds that they use is just like, oh, nice on my ears. I like it.
Yeah. Also, just for you guys who don't know, we do have a personal pick show, and that's what that was. I think the first personal pick show was I want to say it was Cells at Work, but I don't think it was Cells at Work because we voted on that afterwards. I think I thought of it as a personal pick show, but it wasn't.
Oh, I think the
Baccano?
first, I wouldn't count it as a personal pick show, Cells at Work, because it was when we were just starting out.
Yeah.
Yeah, everything was personal.
Everything
pick.
was personal pick.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think it might have been Baccano was our first.
Personal. Yeah. I
When-
think so.
Yeah.
Well, definitely, I think that was the first one we definitely called a personal pick show.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because a show had ended and we had a slot, and we said I wanted to watch Baccano, but I saw there was very little viewership on it, and I think you said, well, it could just be a personal pick.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I want us to usually keep at least reserve 2 slots, and one slot is the Wednesday show. Wednesday show is usually a live action show simply because live action shows release on Wednesday. That's the only reason.
Yeah.
There may be a show that has already been released that we will eventually watch. There is one I'm thinking about. I've always thought about watching Chernobyl, but Chernobyl is rather, as you know, is a very emotional show. It's a very brutal show. But so I'm not too sure on it, and I'm also not sure if its time may have passed. Also, I do think about the popularity of shows, because one of my concerns with Fire Force was when I looked around, I saw that people didn't seem to really want to watch reactions to it.
Yeah.
And I say that I know that there are some videos like 200,000 views on it, but those people with 200,000 views on it usually get 500,000 views. So, you got to think about it like proportionally, because we're way down on the rankings. So if they're getting 200,000, what are we going to get?
Yeah.
And also the interest part of it, where I wasn't fully interested. But Ranking of Kings, I have a lot of hopes for it. And even if it doesn't do too well, I'm happy with it, because it's also a lighter show. We've talked about the emotional state and stuff like that.
Yeah.
It raises feelings, even though it's got sad moments. Like you were just crying at the end of last week.
I was bawling.
Yeah, but it still is a good feeling show.
Yeah.
It's a sweet show.
Yeah. I was happy crying. Sad and happy crying.
Yes, it always leaves a sweet taste in your mouth. Even when you're like, oh no, what happens next? You're hopeful.
To throw back to Baccano, I just wanted to bring up that even though Baccano didn't do well on the channel, I think it's like a masterpiece.
A masterpiece.
And it's probably the only anime that I feel like I actually want to go back and read the books. And we're actually doing that. We're going to go read the books. But yeah, I wish more people liked it. Like it's just because it's old, and we've talked about this before, never in a podcast, but we've talked about like
the timing.
Not the timing, the
setting.
Reception of the show from when it came out, and the follow up of Durara, and how that was more loved. Like we even get people on the Baccano comments like, "Are you gonna react to Durara?"
Yeah.
Like, maybe somebody has a grudge.
Yeah, I do.
He does. Yes, he does. He does.
Yeah. Baccano was... It's literally just one of those shows that was at the wrong time.
Yeah.
If it was in a different era, if it was further back, it would have done better. If it was further forward, it would have done better. It just needed to not come out when it did.
Yeah.
Because that time period was also the explosion of...
Isekai.
Of shonen.
Oh.
I mean, shonen has always been a thing. Don't get me wrong. It's always been a thing. But that was the time period, especially when, Sword Art Online, where you need high school-age kids. They need to have something to do with school. And if there is an adventure, there needs to be like a core romance, and that's the center of the plot, or the adventure. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like you've seen one, you've seen them all kind of shows. I know Sword Art Online is like the best of those type of shows, but along those lines.
Yeah.
But yeah, Baccano, it was a special show. It confused a lot of people, and I understand why they were confused. But me, I like to watch shows that don't follow the set path. I like to watch shows that do something different. I don't do something different just to be artsy. They do something different that's actually good and well executed. Yeah. And I thought it was one of the best stories I ever saw at the time. And it was just strange to see a show get so much hate for not being exactly the same as all the other shows.
Yeah.
Like reading discussion boards, people saying, like, why is it set in this time period? Why do people have these accents? Why is this show like this? Why isn't it like people younger? It's like
wow.
Because it's not.
It's different.
There's for every Baccano, there's 10,000 shows like that you just described. So why don't I just watch one of those? This is a special show. Just treat it differently. But different tastes. Yeah. But on Ranking of Kings, though, one thing I wanted to say about it is it has held true, even though they've kind of shown minor spoilers for for episode 2. While they have shown there is a dark side to say like Daida, and the mirror thingy, it still doesn't feel like anybody is intrinsically evil except perhaps the Light Clan, which wiped out the Shadow Clan. But they may have had their reasons, because they specifically pointed out the Kage Clan was like, yeah, we killed young, old. If we meet our end, we deserved it.
Yeah, it's true.
So everyone has a reason for something that they've done. Everyone has been, I said in the first episode, reasonable. Everyone has a logic to them. No one has come across as just evil because they're evil.
Because nothing,
Even the drunk.
The drunk? Yeah.
Oh, yeah, the drunk with Kage.
I was going to say even Snake Guy. Like, Snake Guy came off super, like, creepy and, like, just going to kill this kid Shadow because I understand you're supposed to be like a protector of the castle.
And they're like a race of assassins.
Right. So it makes sense to be suspicious of him. But then he's like talking to Daida as he's coming off the field.
Mm-hmm.
And he just, to me, that moment came off really caring.
Mm-hmm.
Like he cared about Daida. Or cared about the situation, even.
I don't recall.
He was like standing at the side and Daida was like, what did he say to him? He was asking what did Domus say to Boji. And he told him you need to fight like a right hero or something.
That's not the way a king fights or something.
Yeah. And Daida responded,
He's like, things are going according to my plan.
Basically. But what's his name? The serpent guy just like
I don't know his name. I can't help you.
He just seemed like, even when he was talking to the guy from the window, he's like, yes, it's going like this, but it's not right or whatever. He seemed like he even had, I don't know, standards, or not even to say the standards of, fight like a king standards, but it's like he was perceptive, or he just seemed like a very interesting character that got built up more in that episode than the first episode I saw him. So it's like, he seemed evil with the dark circles under his eyes, but is he though?
He just needs
tired.
to sleep.
Yeah, he's sleepy.
Sleepy time.
Bye.
And the spear guy, that whole dynamic between Domus and the spear of the king, like what's going on there.
Yeah.
He put the sword to his neck, like threatening him, but also warning him. The spear to his neck. Threatening him, but also warning him. And he kind of took it as... Domus kind of just shrugged it off as, listen, you should understand why I did that.
Yeah.
But Domus, again, art is a big thing in anime. Someone is drawn evilly, usually they're evil. Someone drawn good, usually they're good. Domus did something that was not right, but for him it was right. He thought he was doing the right thing. So because of that, I can respect an anime more when they portray a character who has not just in their eyes justified reasons, but reasonable justified reasons. Not just like, this kid killed my cat when I was a child, so now I'll kill his entire race justified. When they kind of do these massive leaps in logic.
Yeah.
It makes sense that Domus, the greatest swordsman in the kingdom, expects the king to fight in a certain way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I don't know. I was so upset with him in that episode. The more I thought about it, though, as time has gone on, is like, as you're speaking to kind of help me, is he has these standards. He's been at the king's side. He's trying to raise the king's son. And I still wonder if his motives are pure, for the king, or if he's still got selfish reasons of where he'd want to train Daida instead, which he does. But if he would do something, to do that, like get rid of Boji, or if he really does want the best for Boji, because he was sitting by his bedside and talking to him and acting like he cared. So I need to see more of him to kind of judge him. But right now he's still a question mark in my head. Like after that, I'm like, question mark. I used to like you. Not anymore.
Yeah. I think another reason why he said to do that is because everybody was heckling Boji.
He heard them.
Not just the heckling, but the way others was perceiving Boji. He was like, okay, you can't win, so you do have to lose because it's going bad.
But I mean, I guess there was no way for Boji to like take a hit and dodge. Take one, dodge one. Take one, dodge one. I don't know. He'd last a little longer at least. But they would probably still be upset about that.
Yeah. Because even if they just called off the fight, people would still have the perception in their minds as like, oh, he's still a dirty fighter. But since he took the hits, maybe they're like, okay, he's maybe not that dirty of a fighter.
Yeah, or at the very least, like that concept of take your lumps kind of thing. Where, somebody messes up in the olden days, they kind of expected you just to take your beating. So that kind of idea, a military idea. Or it could have been also, like I think you were saying earlier, I kind of blanked out. Like you were saying, Domus was trying to salvage the situation, and so it was kind of like a political play, maybe. And so he was like, listen, just take the hits, and you get the troops back on your side. You need these troops on your side, or something like that,
Yeah.
Yeah, other than that, there is a show that's coming up, Kenobi. It's about Obi-Wan Kenobi in his youth.
Wait, what? A live action?
Yeah, a live action like Boba Fett, but it's about Obi-Wan Kenobi. But after, I believe it's after the fall of the Jedi, but in his time period before meeting Luke.
Oh.
Yeah, I wasn't sure if we were going to react to it or not because Boba Fett did very, very, very poorly, except for a couple episodes. A couple episodes popped up, but usually it didn't do very well.
Like 2 to be exact.
Yeah, but Boba Fett's also less popular than Kenobi, but at the same time, I don't know. Well, how do you guys feel about it? Because right now we've got 2 shows that we record on Wednesday, so we'd have to move those around, which that's not that big of a deal. But are you guys like genuinely interested? Because if we do Kenobi, yeah, just a commitment.
Yeah. I mean, if it's a show like The Mandalorian rather than like Boba Fett, where it's just kind of like we're off on an adventure, see what happens this week or something like that. If it's more like that, I think I would be more apt to watch it. But if it, we've seen what they did with Boba Fett, so I don't think they're very good at like, here is goal, we're gonna do everything to get to goal, because like everything is just, that show is weird. I don't know how to explain that show exactly.
Well, with Boba Fett, I think we talked about how early on the first half there were 2 running plots because he had the past him that was saved by the Tuskens and the current him, which was a crime boss. But both of them felt like half measures because the past him didn't feel like a different version of him. Because I think we talked about it, but Boba Fett, like they changed the character according to all the old fans, right?
Yeah.
But in the new show, you're not supposed. It's a redemption story for a character that didn't exist. Like, it's a redemption story, and people are saying, listen, you can't say to change the character because Boba Fett didn't have a character in the movies. So they're introducing the character, right? But it's also a redemption story. So if it's a redemption story, and the character didn't exist, who are they redeeming?
Yeah.
Which means they must be taken from the past. But if they're taken from the past, they never show that on screen, and therefore the character still isn't being redeemed because the audience never saw that.
Yeah.
And then we're seeing him trying to be a crime boss, but we're seeing a crime boss who's trying to be really gentle.
Yeah.
And again, because we didn't see the past, it comes across as he's weak.
Yeah.
So it was strange. I still loved the last couple episodes.
It was amazing, yeah.
But the first few of the build-up, I felt like they could have done the character more justice.
Yeah.
There are a couple issues for me that I think happened to Boba Fett. One, people went in with expectations.
Yes.
And that's like big no-no. Don't do that.
Especially if they're bringing back a character you like.
Yes. Worse, what made it worse was that, as you said, Boba came from nothing. So they were trying to create a character. Now you would say maybe that's the problem, but they did that with Mandalorian. He was nothing. We didn't know who he was. But they made him amazing. But what helped Mandalorian was Baby Yoda. That is what drew in a lot of people. The only reason I was interested was to see the Baby Yoda.
Really?
Yeah. And I remember when you were like, let's react to Mandalorian. I was like, wait, is that the one with Baby Yoda? Because I didn't know which show had it. I just knew people were talking about Baby Yoda. I was like, I want to see the Baby Yoda. So I was excited. You wouldn't tell me if it was, but I had guessed. I think it must be this one. And sure enough, it had Baby Yoda. So that is one of the things that was like a clincher for Mandalorian. If you took out Baby Yoda, I'm not sure if he would have stood up as well. I'm really not sure. Boba Fett didn't have any special thing for him. And what fixed his show was not just Mandalorian coming in, but other characters like Cobb at the end, Cad Bane at the end. That's why the last episodes were like the best. So they drew on nostalgia. So they kind of elevated the show in people's minds a little bit.
Yeah. But you see, that's also an issue. Is like if your character's so lackluster that he needs more interesting characters to support his own show.
Yeah, that's a problem.
You know? And that's why I said it was a half measure. I feel like if they had committed to this being a brand new character, they should have done it 100% and just shown his... Don't show the Tusken things.
Yeah.
Show he came back and maybe start from the Tusken things, but have those flashbacks be about way back when and establish his character then. And so then he can continue from the Tuskens and the Crab Boss.
I was going to say another thing about that part too. The problem as well with the flashbacks, I think what would have helped is if something related to what you were saying, if they had painted his old character just a little bit. Like when he met the Tuskens, if he was a little more rough or a little more nasty, mean. I don't know if that's even how he would be, but it's just like less caring. He seemed like he was out to like escape at least, but he didn't seem like there was like a past
Roughness,
problem
like,
with his self. Like he talked about like talking to Fennec like I've changed. Changed from what? I didn't see what you came from.
Yeah, exactly.
You know? Go ahead.
Like with the when he got captured by the Tuskens the first time, he got out and then he's like talking to this other prisoner. He's like, "You want me to cut your bonds?" I'm like, "Why are you talking to him?"
Yeah.
He's supposed to be like the rough and tumble bounty hunter. He would get out on his own.
Yeah, not care.
And then he gets caught because of it. So it's like, you were always kind. Why are you trying to go from being kind to kind?
Yeah.
Yeah.
A lack of commitment, because they could have done that, or they could have committed to being the bad guy. But they just didn't do either. Or not committed to being the bad guy, sorry. Commit to the fictional character that we all remember from the comics. And that would have worked as well. Or abandon that. Just do one or the other. Don't try to do both.
I think another issue I had is that you could have like left out the entire Tusken storyline.
Yes.
The other storyline would have been completely untouched.
Yeah.
There was nothing connecting it other than those one staff.
That was so disappointing. Yeah, the staff at the end was the only thing that tied it together. And it still wasn't a complete tie for me. Like I was very disappointed. I forgot to be disappointed. But they showed the death of everybody. I was like, that's not the end of them, right? Surely not. You're not just going to show their death and just get revenge. And his revenge was just killing those people, and then he finds out it's the Pikes, and then it's not even him kills the Pikes leader at the end. It's Fennec. And like, spoilers. I'm just like, I don't know. I just feel like they did so much build up with the Tusken. Did they like run out of budget or something? And the Tuskens quit. They're like, I don't want to act this anymore. Sorry.
These masks.
I hate these masks. Yeah, this hot sun. I just feel like they built it up, that backstory, so much, and then they just ended it so cut cold. And maybe that was the goal, and it just fell flat. I don't know. Maybe the effect they wanted didn't pan out or something.
Sorry. Go ahead.
No, there you go.
Like the whole Tusken storyline should have been one episode in the beginning of the whole season. Like one episode, and then it tells us why he is the way he is, why he has this staff, and what he's trying to continue to do now. Because that's like, it took them like what, 3 episodes, three or 4 episodes with the Tuskens, and nothing was seeded in that came back.
Nothing.
Like he could have just had like a random staff on the back of his on his back. It wouldn't have made any difference.
Yeah, a part of the issue is in The Mandalorian, which I guess they're kind of planning it. It's, remember, he showed up to save Mando, he had a staff, so I guess they wanted to make a story with it. But yeah, I think the whole Tusken thing was they were trying to give a big thing to have emotional impact for Boba.
Yeah.
But it just didn't have the impact that it had intended.
That's what I'm thinking.
Because it just half measured. Again, I'll always bring it back to that. It's a half measure.
I moved the camera, sorry.
You did? Oh.
I was messing with the carpet.
It's all right. That's kind of a weird, not weird. That was a long tangent diversion from my question of.
Yeah, are we gonna watch the new show?
All right.
Yeah, again, I'm not sure. Right now, I'm kind of personally leaning towards no, honestly, but.
Honestly, I have more hope that show would do better because he has a character that they cannot throw away. So they have to work with what has been made, which is pretty good, of who he's supposed to be. I would like to learn more about him because I don't remember the Star Wars movies with him that much.
Ewan McGregor.
Yeah.
I have vague memories of his younger self when Anakin was a kid. That's the only thing I have. So I am personally interested in seeing it. Maybe I'd just watch it on my own if we don't react to it. But I think I feel more confident in its ability to do well. I think. Simply because of the nostalgia with him.
It may do a bit better. I'm just thinking like scheduling wise.
Oh.
Like how do we squeeze it in right now?
Oh, I see what you're saying.
So I'm just thinking like if we do squeeze it in, I want it to be a show that not only we're interested in, but it'll do really well. So I'm just not sure. I'm like weighing pros and cons right now. I don't know.
Yeah, you're making points.
How do you feel about it?
I'm pretty indifferent, honestly, because it's like I feel as much. I really love Obi-Wan Kenobi in the movies.
Yeah.
In like both sets of movies, he's such an interesting personality in both the prequels and the originals. I'm not sure how they would carry over his personality in the different situation. because I guess just because of the disappointment of Boba Fett. It seems like they do better with making new characters and new storylines rather than carrying over the old ones.
That actually has been a main complaint of a lot of older fans. I don't think it's an agenda, because there's kind of a conspiracy theory right now in the fandom that they're trying to intentionally kill off all the old characters
Of Star Wars?
so that all the new characters are all Disney products, and that you can't mess with, because once Disney owns a character, they own a character. Like if they make a character, their patent will never run out because they've got too much money. But there's that kind of conspiracy. I don't think that's the case. I do think it's artists work best on things that they invent, and it's not best on things that they adapt and then try to add to. Kenobi could be special in that it's got Ewan McGregor, and a lot of what made Obi-Wan in the movies in the past was he himself, his character, his personality, real life personality bled through, and everyone liked that person. So I do have hope for it. And don't get me wrong, from this conversation, someone might take the idea that I'm not interested in watching it at all. I'm talking about it from a React City perspective. I will watch that show. We'll watch that show.
Yeah.
Like, we'll watch it with mom and dad on Sunday probably as well.
Yeah.
But, so that show will be watched. I'm just thinking about it as, from a React City perspective of whether or not to watch it. So don't get me wrong. It will be watched.
Yes.
One way or another. Well, guys, I think that's the end of this React cast. Thank you guys very much for being here. Guys, if you liked your time here, please remember to leave a like, subscribe if you want to see more. If you guys want to catch the other podcasts super early, check out the Patreon in the description. And yeah, thank you very much. We'll see you guys next time in the city. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.